Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy, look, I have to think Tuesday because my days are running. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that you are well. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me pretty clearly. Come on in, come on in. Happy Tuesday. Today we're talking about how it's not your pricing, it's actually your energy. So, or it's not your offer, it's your energy. Okay? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Sometimes it varies. Sometimes I come on here and it's every week or every day. Sometimes it's never every day. That's a lie. I go to live between 3 to 5 times a week. So that's kind of how that works. So 3 to 5 times a week, I'm gonna go live. When that's gonna happen, it varies. The days for sure that I'm coming on are definitely on Fridays. Are definitely probably on Wednesdays and probably Tuesdays. But yeah, it varies. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. Come on in, come on in. So today, we're talking to the women who are struggling to, and I'm not going to say struggling because struggling is not the right word. Hey, lovey. That's not the right word. I would say for women who've kind of hit a plateau when it comes down to aspects of their business. Hey, Memphis. Areas of their business to where they're kind of like, this isn't really selling. I don't know what's going on. I'm posting, I'm doing this, I'm doing all the things that everyone is saying I'm supposed to be doing, but nothing seems to be working. A lot of times it's not really your offer. It is usually your energy behind it. And I think a lot of women really don't realize how things get sold is people have to believe. People have to see value. This has to be in alignment with them. Has to make them, feel better. All of these things have to be in play if you want to exchange for money to come in. And like I tell you all the time, money locks in with alignment, high vibrational state, and it also locks in with value. And so if you want money, consistent money from other people, you're going to have to make that very clear in your messaging by being magnetic. Well, it's very difficult for you to be magnetic as a woman if you're disconnected from your feminine core. Okay, so there is something called your feminine magnetism that's absolutely amazing that you should be utilizing every single day that you wake up because it supports you in magnetizing and attracting the things you want to attract into your space. If you do not know who I am, my name is Antoinette. I'm a mentor to women of wealth and influence, and what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are high caliber women. I support them in mastering their power, their influence, and mastering self, okay? So, and we do all of this without burning ourselves out. We do all of this by operating from our feminine design. We do all of this literally with ease. And when I say with ease, I think people take that as like there's no level of anything or any, conflict or anything that happens. That's not true. When I say it makes it with ease, meaning that you can easily make decisions. You can easily decide that this is not the life you want and you want to create a new reality. What a lot of women struggle with is to make a decision. A lot of women struggle to choose and to make decisions. And so I put women in a space and support them by getting 100% into their energetics so that they can decide the type of lives that they want. That has resulted in my clients being able to make more money. That has resulted in my clients being able to attract better partners. That has supported my clients in being able to build better communities. This has supported my clients in being able to get their health together and lose weight. So all of these different things have been able to really support my clients in being able to get to the next level. So that's something that's extremely important, extremely vital. So that is what I do. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more for the women in business who've been doing business for a minute, and you're just noticing that, like I said, there's a bit of a plateau that's happening in your business. There's a shift. You're feeling like people aren't really biting. Beforehand, people were biting, but now people aren't necessarily biting, and you're kind of not clear on what's going on. I'm going to support you today to kind of come out of that rut. Okay, so again, like I said, it's not your offer, it's your energy. So do me a favor and put a purple heart in the comments to let me know that you are present. Okay, and if you have not, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. All right, and I want you to share this with another amazing woman who is in business, who is selling a service, and the service, maybe she's just kind of hit a stalling point. Because the thing is, it happens to everyone in business where you hit like a point where it's like, okay, hold on, it's a lot going on. I need to revamp some things. And so I think you kind of need to take these things into consideration that I'm going to talk about today, because it's going to be very vital if you're wanting to continue to monetize your lifestyle. Most people, I don't think they realize like you don't have time, energy, or attention to go get another skill. And a lot of people don't have the money to go and get another skill or buy, into something else. And because of that, they are exhausted because they feel like they don't know what to do, how to get themselves, where they need to be. Well, you amplify your own skill set, but in order for you to do that, you have to be clear on what skill sets are important right now, because what you were doing in business beforehand may have been working for that time. Doing business, and I can tell you this is someone who has been full-fledged in her business since 2020, right? Hey, Baton Rouge. And I can tell you business from 2020 to 2022 is very different from business, or even I'll even say this, business from 2020 to 2023 is very different from from the end of 2023 until 2025. You really have to assess and revamp. Hey, my love, you have to assess and revamp and do research to see what exactly is needed and what is going to work for your business going forward. Okay, because there's no such thing as, I'm just going to go back and get a 9 to 5. I'm going to do that. By 2027, it literally says that most 9 to 5s are going to be phased out. People are going to be picking up shifts like, okay, I'm working this from 10 to 3. Amazon already piloted it a couple of years ago. Y'all don't remember that? Where you can pick up shifts from Amazon and go do this, or little drops and they pay you like that. That's going to become a lot more common. So don't be like, I'm finna just go do this. No, you need to stick to the plan. You need to stick to the vision. You need to understand. You need to refine. You need to revamp. You need to research, and you need to restructure. That's it. Okay? And so today, like I said, we're going to get into the fact that the first aspect of you restructuring is that you have to restructure your energetics. That's first and foremost. And we're going to tap into that today because it's really not your offer. If you have put something out there and it solves someone's problem, you can put something, you can sell it again over and over and over and over again. And it's coming from someone who has done it, okay? And who has supported other women in being able to do the very same thing. So making money is the easy part. I don't really talk about making money. Keeping your money coming in is what you need to be focused on right now, okay? So that is where I come in. I come into the space of teaching you about sustainability so that you really can build generational wealth. And generational wealth consists of the following pillars. Generational wealth consists of financial resources, yes, okay? This is why I'm hosting Monetize Like a Muse Masterclass on the 13th, so that you can be very clear on the 2 to 3 income streams that you have on the inside of yourself that's currently marketable in the current market of what is going on and where things are going. Okay, so I have that course, that masterclass coming up on the 13th. You can click the link in the bio to get more information. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the reason why you have to be paying attention to what is happening currently, a lot of people are positioning themselves to be annexed out of business because they're not keeping up with what's going on. You don't really know how to utilize AI to elevate your business to the next level. And these are things that I'm able to support my clients and I'm teaching them, because the truth of the matter is you need to have a divine business model first. Because if you have a divine business model and you use the garden method, which is what I teach my clients on top of that, you will not miss in any season. You should not miss in any season because you are plugged into what is in alignment for you during this time frame. A divine business foundational structure is extremely important because you are plugged in. You need to be able to get the spiritual download so that you know how you need to be executing in life. The scripture tells you a whole lot about how to do business and how to operate in business. It is no reason why you should not have money continuously flowing in. There's a disconnect somewhere, okay? Because when the Most High gives you vision, there is provision in the vision. So if you feel like provision is drying up, then we need to start recalibrating some things and making sure that we are still in alignment with the vision. And you're not pivoting and shifting based on trends, but you are the trendsetter. See, this is the difference between people being able to stay in business and people being able to just start a business. So like I said, it's not your offer, it's your energy. And if that's not regulated, and it really needs to be regulated spiritually first, which is why I explain to women all the time, in this life, especially if you're going to do business and you're going to do relationship, because a lot of women want to and desire to be married. If you want to do life, business, and relationships well, you're going to need these three key things that I am rooted in. I teach my clients and I make sure that they understand. Number one, you need to be very clear and rooted in spiritual law. You need to understand scripture. Okay, for those who say you believe it, if you don't say you believe it, do what you want. I can't tell you nothing about that, but I've built a 6-figure plus business, supporting women with my formulas, and helped them go from 5 figures to 6 figures to 6 figures to multi 6 figures. And all of these things have been rooted in scripture. But hey, you do what you want, okay? So, but if you say that you are a believer, the first thing that you need to be well versed in is spiritual law. The second thing that you need to be very versed in, if you are a woman and you're deciding to do business and you're deciding to do life, you're deciding to do relationships while you are here on this earth, and you want to do it in a way where you are thriving, then you need to understand the science of yourself, meaning you need to understand the science of your authentic feminine design. You don't operate like men and men don't operate like you. And the minute you begin to understand how you operate, you will stop expecting men to act like women, and you will be able to recognize men, and you will be able to build the type of support that you desire around you platonically, and you will make sure that you are able to assess and choose partnerships that align with who you are romantically. Okay? This also supports you in being able to build a community of women around you that is truly a village. If you do not know how to do relationship with yourself, you do not know how to do relationship with the feminine. If you don't know how to do relationship with the feminine, you're going to struggle in your relationship with the masculine. All of these things are connected, which is why you should understand the science of yourself. If you're going to do business and you're going to do relationships, you should understand the science of yourself from a cyclical aspect, because you have a cyclical nature, which looks like you have a sun clock and you have a moon clock. You have the circadian rhythm clock, just like men have. And we also have the moon clock, which is your lunar clock, which is basically your menstrual cycle clock. And if you want to understand the 4 phases of your cycle, you don't know how to use that energy, you will be online screaming about how you ovulate and all you want to do is go lay down. When in reality, you could take that energy and go make some money. Because there is a connection between your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries that happens during a specific phase of your cycle, which increases your brain creativity, and you really could be making money. You really could be knocking out goals. You really could be doing that. But because you don't understand that, you online making comments about how you ovulate and you ready to get piped down when you really could be getting that paper. You need to really make it make sense about what is going to be priority currently right now in your life. And if you are saying that pipe is so important for you to be able to get, I have to ask you, where has pipe gotten you thus far? And have you ever made a true attempt to make forward progress for yourself, which includes, if you have the paper, you have better options. You get to be in better experiences. You get to be in different environments, and you get to assess what works best for you. But when you don't have these things, you have to choose from the bottom. So you have to make a decision about how you want to live, how you want to move forward, how you want to progress. These are all things that you truly have to pay attention to, okay? So, like I said, all of these things are rooted in energetics. So understanding scriptural law, understanding the science of yourself, understanding the psychological history of your lineage, and that supports you in not repeating the patterns of the women that came before you. So instead of judging the women that came before you, how about assessing the women that came before you and the experiences that came before you, so you know what doors to close, so you don't walk through those doors and repeat those scenarios. So if you want to thrive in life, in business, thank you, my love, for these gifts, in life, in business, and in relationships, thrive, you need to understand spiritual law as a woman. You need to understand the science of how you operate as a woman, and you need to understand the psychology of your lineage. Okay, this is going to support you in truly breaking the cycles and truly creating generational wealth. Because like I said, generational wealth is financial resources, it's emotional fulfillment, it's time freedom, it's healthy relationships, and it's growth and purpose. So when we're talking about generational wealth, this is you pouring into all 5 of those buckets to set up those who are coming after you. Meaning you are modeling these things, you are embodying these things. You're not just telling somebody what they should be doing, because you understand that just telling someone what they should be doing doesn't get them anywhere. You should be modeling, and that should be the example, because we all run off a program. And a lot of us are running off the program of childhood if we have not reprogrammed our minds. Okay? So, like I said, if you want to thrive, those are the 3 key areas to thrive in. If you're trying to build generational wealth, those are the 5 key areas that you want to be pouring into. And a part of generational wealth, of course, is you being able to have the financial resources. Well, a lot of people are seeking how to get additional financial resources in their businesses that don't cost them energy. They don't cost him having to be everywhere, all over the place, all the time. Well, this is going to support you with that today, okay? Because a lot of it has to do with your energetics. So if you have a product and you have a service and it's like it's not doing what it's supposed to do, but you know that it works, let's see if we can figure out why that may be happening, okay? So specifically, like I said, it's not your offer, it's your energy. And I'm talking to the woman who's been like tweaking her offer, who's been rethinking her price, probably thinking about discounting it. She's been rewriting like all of her content and post about it, and still she's not getting paid the way that she really should be getting paid. I need you to be very clear that the room, and when I say the room, even if you're selling online, I'm speaking about the atmosphere online. The room, as in the atmosphere online, it's not about the hustle. It's not about you doing more. It's not about you posting more. It's not about you talking more. It's not about any of that. And I want you to think about that, not just in business, but I want you to think about that in life. Is the hardest working person at the job, are they most likely to get promoted? The hardest working person at the job, at a 9-to-5, is normally not the one that gets promoted, because they need someone in that space to continue to work as hard as that. So they're going to keep you there and promote somebody else who does not work as difficult or as hard as you to be over you. Okay? When you think about that, not from a 9-to-5 perspective, when you think about that from a situationship or a possible relationship scenario, the woman who tricks the most and pays the most, the woman who takes care of the man the most, the woman who does all the things that he wants done in bed, the woman who shape shifts and becomes everything that he wants, is that usually the woman that he turns around and marries? It's not. And then he will turn around and do all of the things that the woman who is begging for this stuff, doing all this stuff, hoping to get, he gonna turn around and give it to somebody else who is not doing anything. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts. So what I need you to understand is this: doing the most is what gets you the least. I had a course I used to sell called Femininity Math, where I was teaching you the importance of doing the least so you can get the most. I might need to bring that back. But femininity math is doing the least and getting the most. It's not girl math, because all girl math is not together. But femininity math, okay, is doing the least and getting the most. It works every single time, because I need you to catch the pattern and break it and look at it and say, okay, me doing the most in these scenarios has not moved me forward. Me doing the most has not gotten me promoted. Me doing the most has not gotten me more sales. Me doing the most has not made this man want to be. Me doing the most is not working for me. And it's being honest with that so you can stop doing the most. It's not the room, the energy, all of that. The money, the men, the all those things, the life, the health. It's not about the hustle. It's about the emotional command. The reason why you emotionally eat is because you lack control of your emotional responses. Okay? The reason why you spend impulsively is because you are not in control of your emotional responses. The reason why you continue to choose and deal with men who dishonor you and disrespect you is because you are not in control of your emotional responses. When I say this ain't about hustle, it's about emotional command, that's what I mean. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. That's what I mean. Emotional command means that you have control. Emotional command means you're in charge. You can't be in charge and you can't be in command and you can't be a queen if you're an overthinker, if you're an overanalyzer, if you're an overextender, if you're an overfunctioner. There is no way for you to be in charge if you are doing these things. The way that you get in charge of your life and the way that you start shifting things in your business is for you to get an emotional command. You to get in command of your emotions. This is for, and what I'm talking about today is for the high performing women who look powerful. I mean, they look powerful online. They show up so powerful, but secretly they spiral, secretly they second guess, and secretly they shrink. And energetically, let me tell you something. Money lie, men lie, women lie, data and numbers can be skewed, but energy never lies. She said, you're speaking to me. Well, all praises. Energy never lies. You can get online all day long and say, I'm beautiful, I'm this, and I'm that, and we run up on you, and the energy is not matching. And it has nothing to do with how you look. It has everything to do with your energetics. We can feel you, especially the people who are really in tune. We can feel. I know confidence when I see it because I feel it first. I also I know the difference between confidence, arrogance, because it's the ego in between. So I can sniff it out. I can tell if you really believe in yourself. And I think a lot of people think that you are fooling people. You are putting on this facade looking so powerful. And a lot of women, let me tell you what a lot of women do. A lot of educated women hide behind their intelligence. You try to weaponize your intelligence and hide behind that as a guard. That you not dumb. And can't nobody play with you. And you always on top of things. But you continue to have inconsistency when it comes down to your finances and your business. You continue to have inconsistent partners that are unavailable and not as supportive as you need them to be. You continue to have people around you but still feel alone in a room full of people. It's your energy is not lying. It's actually telling on you. And people feel that when you get in their DMs trying to sell them something, your desperate energy. Because how you do one thing is literally how you do another thing. You don't need another strategy. You need to get honest about how your nervous system is showing up in business. I hear a lot of people talk a lot about nervous systems, but they don't really ever break down what this looks like and what exactly is happening and how serious this is. You are literally walking matter. You are literally walking energy, and it does not lie. And everything in your life is responding to the truth of who you are. You will always meet yourself in every single experience, in every single relationship, in every single environment. You will always meet yourself because some part of you is in agreement with what is going on. This is why I stay out of the business of people who are married. See, when I see that a woman is married to a man and he's out here cheating and he's out here doing this, and y'all want to get in the comments talking about how he's so low down, why he just don't want to be single. I can't believe she going through that. I wouldn't want to go through that. I wouldn't want to do that. Yada, 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 yada. Some form of what they have going on, she is in agreement with. Some form of what they got going on is in alignment with her ultimate goal. You don't know that woman. Y'all need to really mind y'all business, because people, one thing, listen to what I'm telling you, as someone who's been married, You know who you with. Shalom. You know who you with. You know who you married to. Now, you may not want to accept that. You may want to try to create a false reality. But if you stay in a scenario like that, there is something, a part of that you agree with. You come into agreement. You're in alignment with something. You value something in that space that allows you to stick and stay there. That's why he ain't leaving. When you ask him why you ain't leaving, because something in it. Let me tell you something. Men don't leave if they value something over there. Men don't leave if something over there is in alignment with what they want at that time. Men don't leave if something over there makes them feel good and comfortable to do what it is that they do and to be who they are, because men value freedom and autonomy, which is why they will marry the women that will give them the access for them to have the freedom and autonomy to do whatever they want to do. So whatever woman comes into that, she's submitting to that agreement. There are no victims. There are no victims, but there are a lot of volunteers. See, stop doing this whole thing with, oh, I don't get into the business of married people when I see a woman making the decision to stay in the space with a man who disrespects and dishonors her. I don't know what she's coming to agreement with. Hey, my love, I don't know what she's coming to an agreement with. What I know is that type of agreement won't work with me. I peep that in my business. No, y'all want to write out long, drawn out things about how these things. People come into agreement with things all of the time. Just because that's not an agreement you would come into, that's fine. But people come into agreements all of the time. Okay? People don't keep it real. Facts 9 out of 10, exactly. Facts 9 out of 10, she consents to whoever he is. It's a waste of breath. Good evening and good night. Good evening, good night. Thank you so much, love. Thank you. All praises to the Most High. And I want us to stop doing that. Like, there are no victims. Y'all need to mind y'all business and make sure that you are clear on the things that you are coming into agreement with. Hello. Because folks know what's going on. They know exactly what's going on. People are doing exactly what is in alignment with them. And the reality of the situation is people do and operate according to how their nervous system is going to guide them. Okay? And a lot of women have not retrained or rewired their nervous system to be able to allow themselves to receive what is safe. Because what is safe appears to be boring. What is safe appears to be, something must be wrong with it. What is safe brings all these imaginary things that are not even real. And here you go self-sabotaging the experience because you don't feel safe. But in reality, it's not about you not feeling safe. You were trained in an environment. You was trained for combat. You were trained for instability. You were trained for the up, down, up, down, up, down. And you're not realizing how that impacts the fact that how you eat. You don't realize that impacts the way that you bring in or block money. You don't realize that that's the fact of why you're bringing in the type of men you bringing in and blocking the ones that you actually want. That nervous system telling you, baby, men lie, women lie, number and data can be skewed, but energy never lies. Never lies. You are always being seen, whether you realize it or not. So like I said, you don't need another strategy. You need to be honest about how your nervous system is showing up in business, is showing up in your relationships, and how it's showing up in your life. Because how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if you are out here selling a product and selling a service, you know the service works because you have evidence that it actually works. It's probably not even your offer. It is literally your energetics that is blocking away the things you want, blocking away the money you're going to have in the bank, you could have in the bank. Here's the root of why a lot of women don't trust your offer, or why you don't trust your own offer and what it is that you're selling. You keep asking yourself, is this the right price? Should I pivot again because this is what's going on in the world? Why aren't they buying? Da 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 da. But here's the truth of the matter of the root of that. You don't trust your offer because your nervous system doesn't trust you. Because if somebody wanted to pay you that actual $10,000 for you to get it done, you're going to get that hit in your stomach. You're going to get them butterflies in your stomach. And you're going to get scared. because you're not used to someone wanting to pay you that type of money without wanting some form of slavery or some form of exhaustion from you in return. You don't think you're worthy of that, so you block that. And you block that by not showing up confidently. You block that. And a lot of women, and the thing about it is, it's the smallest thing. Women who struggle to receive payments in business are the same women who struggle to receive compliments for real. You are immediately, when somebody says you're beautiful, you got to tell them they're beautiful back, or you got to say, "Ooh, girl, no, this whole thing," or you have to do something else to take the attention off you because you are afraid of really being seen. Though you out here looking for attention, though you are here being attention seeking, you still are afraid to really be seen. You know what? I don't get offended, and a lot of women tend to get offended when they see women out, and women are, some women are so attention seeking. You have those type of women who come into spaces, and especially when there are men around, and they just really start making a spectacle of themselves because they just want to be looked at. They just want attention. And you have the women who are around that, who get disgusted by that, and are just like, "Oh, why are you doing too much?" And for me, I don't feel anything because I recognize exactly what that is. Okay? Women who are attention seeking want someone to see them, but they want someone to see the perception that they are putting out there and that they are portraying, because if they accept that perception, then they won't be seen for real. The real them will not be able to really be seen because you'll be so entertained or caught off guard by the spectacle that they're creating that you will assume that that is them. When the reality of the situation is they don't want to be seen. They just want to be looked at for a second. They want to be looked at for a second. So I don't even get upset when women start operating like that and being like that, because I understand exactly what that is. But this comes from a woman who does not see herself. See, it's very insane to me how women will look in the mirror every single day and beat their face to oblivion and lay some makeup on out. Do you hear me? You will look at yourself every single day and still not see yourself. You will look at yourself every single day and still not see yourself, but expect other people to see you. Get upset when other people don't see you. But you don't see yourself. You don't see yourself. And because you don't see yourself energetically, people don't feel you. They don't feel you. They don't feel your content. They don't feel you when you talk about whatever it is that you're selling. They don't feel you when you talk about how the Most High sent you on a mission to do this. You don't believe that. The energy that you give off doesn't believe that, so people don't buy in. Because people are still spending money. People are still investing at a high level. At a high level. People are investing in a multitude of things, from classes on how to pose to classes on how to cook meals. People are paying and investing at a high level. If you're not getting the money, you're not in the right room. And if you're not in the right room, that's because you haven't risen up vibrationally. So people will not see you. They will only see the spectacle that you create and make assumptions about who you are, because you really don't want to be seen. You don't trust your offer because your nervous system does not trust you. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these follows. Your body panics before your brilliance even lands. You cripple yourself from speaking because your body is in a panic. You think you don't even belong in this room, and you are the most brilliant person in the room. But nobody in the room will even know who you are because you're so panicked about being in the room. Who are these people in the room? Because they have more money than you? People who develop the mindset of, I can't talk to this person, or I can't approach this person because this person has more money than me, and da 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 da. This is a real life self-worth issue. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It is a self-worth issue, and it also is an identity issue. I can walk in the room with the richest person in the world. Do you hear me? Understand this. Don't ever get it confused. And I'm still going to draw people into my ecosystem. This is what I know about myself, because I understand that I am money. What they have and what other people hold in their bank accounts may be paper money. And money itself is made up of 75% cotton, 25% linen. Go look that up on Google. So for y'all who hiding money, when the dollar busts, baby, it ain't nothing but paper you can wipe your tail with. Understand what I'm telling you. 75% cotton, 25% linen. The real value is in you. And when you understand that you are walking value, when you understand that you are walking asset, when you understand that you are walking kingdom power, and you move rooms and you shift temperatures and you multiply atmospheres by just walking into them, money can't help but to find its way to you because you are that intriguing. Okay? You are that in alignment. You are that valuable. You give off that much of a high vibrational state. I have to come and give you my money. See, and this applies not only in business, but this is how men give you money too. If you didn't know, if you don't know, I'm definitely the friend. And my friends come to me and be like, hey, I was wondering how to get, baby. I don't ever have a problem with men wanting to invest and give. And they don't be asking me what I'm bringing to the table. They see. They see what I'm doing. They know what I'm doing too. I don't hide what I do. I don't hide who I am. In order for me to reap the beautiful things of this life, I have to be honest about who I am and what I do and why I'm here and all of these things. So either you're going to honor that or you're just not going to be in my presence. And that's just point blank period. So people invest in what they believe to be valuable. And if you show the product to be an asset, if you show the product to be valuable, if you show the product to be life-changing, sweetheart, it is nothing for people, men, corporations, companies to invest in you. Let me put you on game if you didn't know. When you see people who are independent artists, right? The reason why music companies want to come after creatives, powerful creatives that have influence, is because they want to be able to use their influence for their agenda because they have a loud voice. See, this is why you have to be very careful about what you submit to before you end up selling your soul. Understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, creatives create from a space of freedom. They create from a space of love. They create from a space of pain. They create from spaces of joy. They create from all sorts of vibrational states. And when it resonates with who it's supposed to resonate with and it takes off and society sees that you have influence, they want to use your influence to push forward their agenda. And you have to ask yourself if you're going to submit to a system that plans on making you a slave and making you a part of a slave system. Okay? This is why it's very important for you to be very clear on who you are, whose you are, have the spiritual authority and the spiritual command to be able to decline these things, because what you don't understand is this. A lot of people talk a lot about breaking out of the matrix. Hey, my love. A lot of people talk about breaking out of the matrix. The matrix that you need to break out of is the one within your mind. And once you break the one out within your mind, by understanding spiritually who you are, spiritually understanding how you're designed, spiritually understanding that you have access to power within you, then you won't try to use a system to gain power over others. Your natural influence will impact and will create income. So when it talks about how your gifts will make room for you, it requires a level of trust. It requires a level of belief. It requires a level of you activating that belief. It requires you willing to decline things that are not in alignment with your assignment, that intend to come in and wrap you into an entanglement. See, people want to use your influence. They want to use your influence for their personal gain. A prime example of that is how people will buy these supplements and say, oh, you should take these supplements. They've never taken these supplements. This is why I get offered free deals and brand deals. I get offered brand deals, products, and different things weekly. Because I'm monetized on several platforms. So I get it weekly. I do not promote anything that is not in alignment with who I am, what I do. I don't promote anything that is going to be a conflict of interest of that to be able to get $1, because you don't pay me. The Most High pays me. And according to scripture, that the Most High is going to supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory. And when I listened to the systems of society that kept me a slave by working in corporate America, I was making 1/3 of what I make right now. by listening and being obedient to the Most High and showing up the way I'm supposed to show up. So y'all was paying me a cheap salary while taxing on my soul to meet your goals. The way that you break out of the system is by being spiritually rooted, spiritually grounded. That's the only way out of this system. Otherwise, you're going to have to submit to it. So the matrix that you need to break is the one that's in your mind that says that you have to do everything this way. Who said that? I was having a really good conversation with a friend, and he was saying how, right? He was saying how somebody was saying, like, I want to move to another country, but I just worry about like how I'm gonna live and da 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 and da 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 da. And my friend was like, "Why are you worried about that?" Like, and I said, "I'm never worried about that. You know why I'm never worried about that? One thing about me is anytime I get to a space in my life I don't like it, I set my life on fire. I set my entire life on fire. I burn everything up, including the identity that was attached to my old life. And if I decide today that I want to burn this mug down and move to Italy tomorrow, I'm gonna work in a bakery, and I'm gonna give encouragement in a bakery. And I guarantee you I still will turn around and be a millionaire because I sow seeds the way I sow seeds. And I am excellent at building relationships. I am good at what I do. I honor my spiritual gifts. I speak when I'm supposed to. And people open doors for me. Connections all of a sudden happen for me. I explained to you guys how I met a woman in Arizona, and she was like, we had such an amazing conversation. She's this and that. She's independently wealthy. If you understand independently wealthy, then you already know what it is. You understand when women start talking like that. And she said, I would love for you to come and stay with me for a few days. And you know what I'm saying? And come to Vancouver. What, girl? I love Toronto, but I ain't never been in Vancouver. I'm coming. Thank you, my love. Understand that the Most High will always open doors for you. The Most High is such a gentleman like that. Will always open doors for me no matter where I go. Babe, I could be working in a pastry shop. Just got through baking bread. I promise you. My life is still going to be absolutely amazing and great. Nothing is stopping you but you. Like I said yesterday, you only will go as high as your beliefs, and you will only go as far as your circle. You will only go as high as your beliefs, and you will only go as far as your circle. If you don't expand and if you don't rise, you position yourself for poverty, and you're making your own self a slave. You are choosing to abandon your birthright of abundance according to John 10:10 that says that the Messiah has come to give you life and give you life abundantly. Instead, you have chosen to become your own enemy, to steal your own joy, to kill your own confidence until you self-destruct. You have made your own self a slave. Don't blame the enemy. That's you. You become your own enemy. Tell the truth. See, when you abandon your birthright, you choose to become your own enemy. You do. You immediately do. Okay? I'm working on adapting this mindset, trying to undo so many false ideologies. I have a lot of products and services to support you on that. If you're ready to really take that jump. And they work. My track record is my track record for a reason. All praise to the Most High. But like I said, for a lot of you, your body panics before your brilliance even lands. So people don't even get to experience your brilliance. You're still explaining, adjusting, and overthinking instead of commanding. Explaining, adjusting, and overthinking are rooted in lack. Okay? There's a lack of belief. There's a lack of faith. Because let me tell you something. If I tell you that I was here at this time, once I tell you this is what I did and this is what happened, explain for what? Hey, you gonna be able to make it? No, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Explain anything else for what? Explain anything else for what? Well, hey, I know you off today, but I was wondering if you could. No, I'm off today. I'm resting. Adjust for what? Your emergency ain't my urgency. And there's only a few people who can call me like that. One of them being my mama. And even with my mom and my family, they know I got boundaries. They already know what time it is with me. So adjust for what? Worry by overthinking for what? You overthink because you lack faith. That's why you overthink. Hey, love. And let me just go ahead and tell you, all this explaining, all this adjusting, all this overthinking instead of commanding mutes your nervous system. And a muted nervous system will mute your magnetism and your money. A mute nervous system will mute your magnetism, which is how you attract the things that you truly desire, and your money. So not only, thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and for sharing, okay? Not only are you blocking your magnetism, okay, but you're also blocking your money. She said, I think I'm numb. It's very possible. It's very possible. And being numb is a huge block. It blocks the money. It blocks the men because it's rooted in something else. Okay? Let me back this up with real data, though, since we're talking about the money and we're talking about the magnetism. 92% of entrepreneurs, you notice I said 92%. 92% of entrepreneurs say that emotional dysregulation, not lack of strategy, is the number one reason for inconsistent income. I'm gonna say that one more time. See, y'all thought I was playing. I keep telling y'all, I know where the money resides. I didn't got some money. I didn't talk to most of the people on how to get money. It's really not difficult for you to be able to get it. The issue is at hand is once you get it, have it sustaining. See, it's the inconsistency that gets you mixed up. Again, let me give you that quote that comes from the Emotional Capital Institute. This was 2024. I'm sorry, that was last year. I'm sorry, that was what, 6 or so, almost 7 months ago? Huh? Okay. Again, 92% of emotional dysregulation. I'm sorry, 92% of entrepreneurs say that emotional dysregulation, not lack of strategy, is the number one reason for their inconsistent income. You wanting to do things according to your mood. This means, and let me tell you what this means. That stat. That basically means that the very thing that you're ignoring, your emotions, your little feelings, and all that great stuff, and all the real tea, not the intellectualizing of your trauma or not the intellectualizing of your healing, because you ain't dealing with the truth, the actual energy in motion, your emotions. Because you're not dealing with that, you are emotionally unstable. And that is the thing that is leaking your income. That is why you get money, then you don't have none. You get money, then you don't have none. You get money, then you don't have none. It is all centered around the fact that you are dysregulated. The market isn't unstable because people still spending money. We're like, y'all not seeing that. People still spending money. And they ain't spending no little money, they spend a lot of money. People are still spending money. The market is not unstable. You are. Because money is still being made. I'm telling you, it's going over your head if you ain't catching on. And it's because you're not rising up. And until you regulate, your revenue is going to continue to reflect that. It's really, really going to reflect that. I have a couple of different things that can support you in regulating. That's in the link in my bio. And I'll break that down in a little bit. Okay? So let's break down how regulation, or that regulation, is ROI. It's the return on your investment. Okay? Strategy does not override nervous system panic. You can have the right strategy and the wrong energy and the right client and not make the money. See, what do I always tell y'all? I always tell y'all that alignment and being a receiver, which is feminine, is like the catcher on the baseball field. I keep telling y'all that. It's the catcher on the baseball field. The catcher is at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right materials. You could literally be with the right client with the wrong energy and the right product, okay? And them not buy in because of your energetics. You just don't feel right, okay? You are not going to be able to hide that. This is why women really need to make sure that they are emotionally regulated, especially if you are doing business and you call yourself dating. If you are out here dating, you need to be extremely emotionally regulated, not just emotionally intelligent. Because a lot of you are aware of emotional intelligence, but you're not even really emotional intelligent because you lack the empathy for yourself to protect yourself and not put yourself in piss poor situations that drain you. This is why I teach this to my clients. And this is why my clients end up doing so well. They attract better partners. I didn't work with women, marriages going to hell in flames. And then we end up working together, and then marriage end up working together. That's happened twice. And I've even had one of those women to say, oh my God, you're so amazing. You've helped me so much. Why is it, that your marriage didn't work? That wasn't the right partner. And I chose from a place of emotional dysregulation. And I chose from a place of trauma. And that wasn't the right connection for me. And when I grew into the woman that I am now, that marriage would not have ever been in alignment with me, like in this space and time. So that's why. Not because I'm not clear. Because I have, and the thing about it is, and like I told her, I was like, I have great dating experiences. Like a lot of stuff women be talking about, I don't have it. I don't have them issues because I ain't gonna play with you. You're gonna do right or get left. And I don't mind getting left because there's always somebody else. Always. Quality women always have options. So I never have to sit if I don't want to sit for something that at a table where I'm not being served properly. For what? Makes absolutely no sense. You've unlocked something for me. I've gotten close to 200K only to go back to burn it all down. Honey, come over here and see me so we can get you to 3. Okay? Come over and see me so we can get you to 3. So, but understand again, until you regulate, okay, your revenue is going to reflect that. Your revenue is going to reflect that, and your romantic life is going to reflect it as well, okay? And the only reason I dabble or talk about the romantic aspects is because if you notice, women who come to work with me, the things that I teach, thank you, my love, for these gifts, and thank y'all so much. The things that I teach, you can apply in life, business, and your relationships. Not just romantic, your friendships as well. Because women try to abandon the very community that they need to chase men, and it is at your detriment, which is why the majority of you are out here talking about y'all need to decenter men. Is because you chase them and abandon community. And you don't understand the value of community, and you don't understand the richness of your history. Even if you go back to biblical days, you go back to the days of our ancestors, you go back to the days of villages. Women were in villages raising children together. Y'all understand that, right? And then if you had a son and he got to a certain age, he had to go and be with the men so he can go through the rites of passage. Women were together raising the family, being communal, all of these things, while the men were being taught about war and all the different things of protection and all the things that they needed to know. Y'all abandoned community chasing pipe, and that's crazy work. That's crazy work. That not only does it go completely against your design, but it doesn't make any sense. We, by nature, as women, are communal. Men are not communal. They're not. And if you don't believe me, there's a study, and I want to say, you can even find it on TikTok. They put like 10 boys in the house, and they put 10 girls in the house. They put the 10 girls in the house. The first thing the girls did was got together and was like, we're going to divide up chores. This is who's going to cook here. This is who's going to do this. And everybody just had their little part done. You know what the boys did when they got together? Do you know what the 10-year-old boys did when they got together? They start fighting. They start war. They trying to figure out who finna run it, who finna be in charge. They start tearing up the house. They start throwing food everywhere. Then way after the fact, people start thinking, okay, well, what we gonna eat tomorrow? Or maybe we should kind of keep the house dirty. All of that. Women are naturally communal, which is why it's very interesting to me when women want to abandon their community trying to chase pipe. Please. Oh my God. Stop doing that. Please. And if you feel like you don't have community and all you have is this man that's your best friend, then you need to elevate yourself, because there's always community. Quality women always have options, baby. And I'm not just talking about men. I've traveled so much, and I meet people on the regular who put my name in rooms after one conversation because they feel the genuineness. They feel and they see the value. They can feel the value. Because it's authentic and it's true. And it's authenticity and genuineness and originality that opens doors for you. But it is your character that keeps you in those rooms, which is why you should be rooted in your spiritual identity. Because the more you influence other people and the more influential you become, the more attractive you become to the moths, because you are a flame. And everybody like a little fire. But some people want to put the fire under their thumb. And this is why it's very important for you to be rooted in who you say you are. You have got to understand that. Okay? So be very clear. Let me get back to this. I know I didn't got off. But regulation is ROI. Okay? So let's go ahead and break this myth. Strategy doesn't override a panic nervous system. Okay? You can have the prettiest brand. You can have the smartest funnel, because y'all know you like to drop the dollars for funnels. You can even have the best pricing model. Okay? But if your body doesn't feel safe holding power, then you will sabotage every single win, which is why when you get a large payment, a 5-figure payment, you blow it. You blow it. Because you didn't have a plan for that money, because you never planned for somebody to ever really pay you that money, even though you set up all of your systems to be paid that type of money. You didn't regulate your nervous system to be able to receive. If somebody called you right now and said, I got $1 million for you, finna be like, what's this for? You finna get scared. You finna start moving. You don't have a plan. You don't have a vision. And without a vision, the people will perish. I keep trying to tell you, if you want to thrive in business, if you want to thrive in life, if you want to thrive, okay, in relationships, you need to understand spiritual law. You need to understand scripture if you're saying that you really are a believer. A lot of you are quoting tradition and text, and you are not tapped into true power, which is why it is not evident in your life, which is why people don't want your God. No matter how much you preach it to them, they don't see him evident in your space. They don't see him in your faith. They just see you covering yourself up. Don't piss me off. Because you're not being for real. Which is why you can't sustain the manifestations. Of course you can make money. That is the lowest level of the lowest level of the low when it comes down to money. Of course you can attract a man. Of course you can get him to spend a little money on it. That is the low of the low of the low of the low of the low. Of course you can start a business. Of course, all of these things. Of course you can do these things. But can you sustain? Can you sustain healthy relationships? I'm not talking about a bunch of men being attracted to you, baby. Let me tell you something. Men are visual, baby. And they'll miss... They had a story around Thanksgiving that came out about how some men was messing with the turkeys. That's not impressive. That's the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the low. Okay? What is the long-term investment looking like? What is the long game looking like? Okay? Make it make sense. Well, all praises. I'm glad that you're here. All praise to the Most High. Regulation is ROI. You can have the prettiest brand, like I said, the smartest funnel, the best pricing model ever. But if your body can't hold power, you're going to sabotage every single win. And let me tell you something. To the women who want to be married, marriage is a power tool. It is a wealth building tool. It is a power tool, which is why it should something you shouldn't take lightly. It is why you should not be marrying for love, for your feelings. Are you insane? That is Disney programming that needs to be deprogrammed from your mind for you to grasp real understanding of what marriage really is. It is a power tool. It is a wealth building tool. It is a legacy starter. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You are joining bloodlines. This ain't no little girl stuff. See, all that print, this ain't for little girls. You are joining bloodlines. Do you understand? So when you are coming into power like that, if you can't hold that type of power, you're going to self-sabotage it and you're not going to be able to sustain it. The women who tend to have issues with meals, meaning food, are the same issues, women who have issues with impulsively spending money. And it's the same type of woman that has issues in the relationships with the masculine. You better remember, all of those things are rooted in your emotional state. You emotionally eating instead of intuitively eating. You impulsively spending instead of intuitively investing. See, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. You shortchange yourself in these experiences, and then you turn around looking for someone to blame. Regulation has a great return on an investment. Regulation is ROI. Being able to regulate your nervous system will support you in making decisions that are going to elevate your life instead of exhaust you. You are either in this life as a woman walking around, you are either a fountain or you are simply a drain. Figure it out. And figure it out now. because you do not have time for this. You don't need another mentor. You need emotional calibration, recalibration. That's what you need. And let me tell you, emotional recalibration will put you in a different, not only in a different tax bracket, but emotional recalibration will put you in environments that will support everything that you desire and that you want. I have worked with women who have been praying for things to happen in their lives for years, and then they made serious decisions and they shifted their energy after our sessions, and they were able to get exactly what they wanted. I had a client who came to me, and energetically she was exhausted. She was overextended. Hey, my love. She was over functioning. She was over serving. She was just doing the most and getting the least. Wasn't even being paid for her expertise. She had been in this type of industry for about 20 years. And I'm trying to figure out, why is it that you feel comfortable charging $250 for this huge service where you are saving them thousands. You are saving them thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And you are charging pennies. Why is that? And we did the work around her energetics to the point to where she felt confident enough to be able to speak to 2,500 and 2,000 for the very service that she was speaking about. And she came back to me in 25 days and had gotten up to $15,000 in sales. This was after one session we had. See, emotional recalibration will get you where you need to be. I need you to understand that everything, when you look at the law of vibration, everything vibrates. Your heartbeat, your breath coming up, all of these things serve as a vibration. Your eardrum, all of these things vibrating. Courage is a vibrational state. It is the start of a high vibrational state. When you look at the vibrational scale, and you can look this scale up on YouTube, on Google, and I forgot his name, but look for power versus force, emotional vibrational scale, and you should be able to pull it up, and it shows you where courage falls, right? So courage is sitting right here. That is the first step into high vibrational state, because it takes courage to love, which is a higher vibrational state. It takes courage to achieve peace, which is a higher vibrational state, because you got to have the courage to stick to your boundaries, even with people you love, if you want to have what? Peace. It takes courage to operate from a space of joy. It takes courage to step into the things that you desire, enlightenment. And it is not a coincidence that all of these things at the top of the high vibrational scale, or the emotional vibrational scale, all of these things are spiritual fruits, which is why I tell you again, as a woman, you should be frequent and fluent in the following if you want to thrive in your relationships, in your life, and in your business. You need to be fluent in spiritual law, scripture. If you claim to be a believer, you need to be very clear on that. You need to be very clear on the science of yourself, how you operate, operating with your feminine design instead of against it. When you work against your feminine design, you get womb issues. Ask me how I know I had them and I healed them. When you work against your design, you develop womb issues. Ask me how I know, because I had them and I healed them. And I've also supported other women in healing them. Working against your design does nothing but exhaust you and leave you destitute and not supported. Do you understand what I'm telling you? This is why you see so many women who sit at the top at VP levels, and these women come to work with me, VPs of companies and all of these things. And a lot of the women that are sitting at the top, the majority of the conversation is that this week, who is going to have to go get a hysterectomy because the wombs are out of whack, because they have been working against themselves. Working against themselves. And we have to start paying attention to that. Your energetics matter. And when you recalibrate, you position yourself for greatness. You position yourself to vibrate from courage into love, into peace, into joy, into all the vibrational states that support you. And understand that love and money sit on the same frequency. So if you don't love yourself, if you don't love the offer, then nobody is going to meet you with that same type of love or that type of money, because you're not in love with it. When you're in love with something, what do you want to do when you're in love? You want to talk about it. You want to sing about it. You want to speak about it. And you speak about it with such joy and such zeal and all these amazing things, right? Why are you not speaking about like that about your offer? Because you don't believe, you don't love it. You're not sitting on the frequency of love, which is going to let me know that you don't have the courage to even show up. And people ain't going to pay you because guess what? They don't see you. They don't see you. Are we not always healing? We are always healing something. But we are not always in a stage of, oh, I need to be. We're always healing something. There's always something that we're working through. Small, some big, all of these things. You could be healing your relationship with money by starting to budget. Okay? So again, I had a one-on-one session with my client, and energetically, like I said, she was charging at such a low rate, and then she came back to me 25 days later and was like, I've gotten up to $15,000 in sales. I've had to turn away work. I didn't think this was real. Now I know it's real. And she can't, and the funny thing is, you ever heard of, y'all been hearing a lot of people talk about the butterfly effect. I want to talk about the butterfly effect when it comes down to money and how in this scenario and what happened. So the butterfly effect is something that they have been talking about on TikTok, where they have been saying, by chance scenarios happen that weren't supposed to happen and weren't supposed to be there, and everything just kind of continued and worked out in some kind of way, and some magical experience came from it. Well, this particular client who I'm talking about, she had invested in a course that I had, and the course at the time was called Intelligence to Income. And so she had bought into the course. Well, something happened to where I couldn't do the class. And so I had to reschedule the class. I was very sad about it because I can be a very, like, when I want to have something set and it doesn't work out, I can go left, or not go left, but more so just be like, oh my God, internally, like, no, stick to the plan. So because that didn't end up happening, she sent me a message, an email, and we were talking back and forth, and she was like, because I was kind of concerned. So she ended up getting the class, and at the end of the class, she talked about how she thought actually she had paid into a scam. She thought she had paid into a scam, and she was really concerned. And she said, well, by the end of the class, she really knows that she was supposed to be in this class, and to thank the Most High and da da da. Well, the women who came to that class, I offered them specifically, because I had to cancel the class, I offered them a private session. My private sessions cost $9.97. To have like a 90-minute session with me is like $9.97. But you get, my results are what they are. So it's $9.97, and they ended up getting it for free because I had to reschedule the class. So when we got online, I said, okay, so this is how we're going to implement the intelligence to income strategy in your business, and I want you to come back when you've made $10,000. Come back and see me when you made $10,000. Baby, she came back and saw me 25 days later, and she had gotten up to $15,000 in offers. And she said she had to start turning away money, and she needed me to help her figure out how to hold the money, how to hold the energy that she had called in to her space. Now she needs to get comfortable holding that energy. See? When you get in alignment, the things you want come fast. But you got to be prepared and to receive it and know what to do with it. Okay? It's not enough to just catch the ball, because you could drop the ball. All right. So there's something that you really have to pay attention to. So me doing that work with her, that's the power of emotional precision. That's what happens when your body finally believes that you deserve to win, and you allow yourself to actually win. Okay. Now imagine 6 weeks of that type of full power. That's basically what I do in the Muse Activator with my clients. It's not group therapy. We ain't trauma dumping. I'm not one of them. Okay. This is not spiritual fluff that we're doing. It's literally a 6-week recalibration for high performing women who are literally done performing power, and they're ready to like fully embody power. What we do in there is that we rebuild your nervous system to hold wealth, whatever that wealth looks like for you. Okay. This also supports you in aligning your emotional field with your leadership, so you are coming out and you are speaking as the authority that you are, okay, confidently. And it also activates your magnetic presence, which is sustainable because it's completely authentic. So for the next 5 women who come into this program, the program actually it is 222, but because I want to open up more spots, the first 5 spots are going to be $9.97. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You have to DM me the word activate. Once you DM me the word activate, you're going to get your startup paperwork, and then within 24 hours, and then on May the 15th is going to be our first day starting, okay? So again, if you want that, you DM me the word activate. If you're not ready for 6 weeks, if you're like, I'm not ready for 6 weeks, but you know that your presence isn't being monetized the way it should, you're not being paid for the value that you believe that you're providing, then I want you to come, and I invite you strongly to come to the Monetize Like a Muse Masterclass that I'm having on May 13th. And let me tell you, this is the last masterclass I'm going to be having for a while. So, I'm not going to be having no masterclasses for a while. I am solely going to be bringing women into the magnetic muse. I'm the Muse Activator, and women who want to transition into the bigger program, the magnetic muse. So this is going to be my last masterclass for a while, sugar plum. So if you want to come in and understand how to really bring in income without having to go get another job, without having to go get another degree, without having to go get another cert, or all these different type of things, if you really want to understand, how to come into a space of being able to monetize and bring in more money, then you want to be in this class. The class is $175. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. The link is in the bio. What's going to happen is this class is that we're going to identify the leaks that are blocking your money, baby. Okay? You're going to get the emotional blueprint to create content that actually converts. And then you're also going to get soft, something I like to call soft power tools, so you can sell without forcing. Okay. I actually am excited about this class. I'm gonna give you some more details. You are a marketing genius and truly erudite, articulating value. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. I received that. But this class is going to be absolutely amazing. Like I said, you don't need to start over. You don't need to be louder, because that's you're doing the most. You just need to be clearer. You need to be emotionally and energetically and spiritually clear. The women who regulate in this season are the ones who are going to reign. The women who continue to react are going to recycle survival and end up in different forms of slavery. Whether you turn around and go marry somebody just so you can survive, because that's what I'm listen to me. In the next 2 years, y'all gonna see something. A lot of people gonna be getting married people so they can just survive. And when you come under those type of conditions, you position yourself to be prey. I don't recommend that. I recommend women operating according to the gifts that are within them, according to Proverbs 8 and 12. I recommend women being in alignment with those gifts so they can make room for them. And I believe that you are to, as a woman, rise to the occasion. And whoever it is that you are here to be with, if that is your desire, because I do believe the Most High gives you the desires of your heart, whoever it is that you desire to be with will be able to meet you at the proper vibrational level. Because if you're still functioning on survival and you're meeting people in the state of survival, sweetheart, who coming up? Everybody just going down. It's not making no sense, okay? So a lot of women are speaking about, like, how do I do, listen, in this class, you're going to learn 2 to 3 monetizable skills that's going to support you and put you in the market, okay? When you first buy your ticket to class, what ends up happening is that you get an email welcoming you. Within 48 hours, you're gonna get my own personal programmed AI, and that AI is going to ask you questions. And I have programmed that AI so well to where it is going to help you identify what your monetizable skills are. It's going to give you 2 to 3. I need you to just bring those 2 to 3 to class with you. I need you to pay attention to everything that I'm giving you. If you decide to sign up for the upgrade package, which is the $497, where you get 2 weeks of personal coaching with me of how you're going to execute this until I can make sure that you're on target to get this income. Okay, that's $497. You get that with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You're going to be good to go. because you don't have the energy to go get another job. You don't have the money, the time, or the energy, or the attention span to go get another degree to do all these things. You need to be amplifying the skills that you have on the inside of you. But you can't do that if you're not aware and clear on the monetizable skills that you have on the inside of you. And that's what I'm going to support you with and help you with. Okay? So, Monetize Like a Muse. That's happening May 13th. It's going to be at noon. Yes, you get a copy of the replay. Yes, it's going to be really, really good because you're going to be able to identify your blocks, your monetizable skills, and you will have no excuses. When you leave this class, if you don't get out there and elevate your influence so that it creates impact and draws in income, it's totally on you. Because all you have to do when you leave that class is start executing and be consistent and be rooted in what it is that I'm telling you. If you don't do it, nothing works unless you work. Okay? So, Monetize Like a Muse. Click the link in the bio to get access. There's 2 ways that you can get your ticket for $175 or $497 for the upgraded package. Or you can click the link in the bio to get access to any courses and services. If you have interest in the Muse Activator, and you want the 6-week program for $997 with client that comes with client or firm afterpay, then DM me the word activate and I will send you the link so you can get started. And that program starts on 5/15, and that's gonna be so good. Okay, because I just graduated my Muse this last week. So yeah, I'm excited for the new ones that are coming in. It's going to be a good time. I'm all about women being able to be magnetic and get the things that they truly desire and the desires of their heart. A lot of that has to do with yourself. So, so a man thinking in his heart, so is he, sweetheart. Your heart is a magnet. It's a magnet, and it sends out a vibration, and the people are entering into your field. Do you like the people in your field? Do you like the type of money that comes into your field? If you don't, then you need to come over here to Monetize Like a Muse, or you need to come to the Muse Activator Suites. Because it's out there and it's available to you. Okay? What questions do you guys have for me? Drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to take a few questions before I get ready to get off here. I ate today, so I ain't finna go eat. So, drop your questions in the comments for me that you may have. Drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Let me know your questions in the comments. Ooh. I'm going to get this stand today. I need to stop playing because I play too much. Any questions before I get out of here? And congratulations to those. So I can see some people have gone and gotten their tickets to class. Price pointing to an audience that may not have much to spend. Okay, so I'm going to be very transparent with that. Okay, and I'm really glad that you asked that. So the question was about price pointing to an audience that may not have much to spend. I do not recommend positioning yourself to sell products for people who cannot spend. Here's why I say that. Energetically, or let's just do it like this, psychologically. If we do Haslow's hierarchy of needs, if they're struggling with money and they're struggling with the basic things, they're not really concerned. The value or the priority of their mindset and all these other things, or mindset work or whatever, that's not really a priority when they're trying to figure out how they're going to eat, or they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills, or they're trying to figure out these things. My strong recommendation and suggestion to you would be to market to people who can actually afford your products and your services. And when you get that income coming in, you can turn around and go support and possibly scholarship a few people who you deem to have shown themselves, ready and willing to participate in a process where they're going to put their best foot forward. Then you can offer scholarships. Then you can offer different things. But you have to make sure that your energy is being compensated for. Because if you don't, eventually you're going to feel exhausted, and you're going to feel like the gift that has been bringing you joy is now becoming a curse, because you're not able to sustain and you're not able to show up, because you're pouring too much, and you're pouring into spaces kind of like you're pouring into cups that have holes in them, if that makes any sense. So my strong suggestion is for you to go to people who can actually invest in what it is that you're offering at a high level, then turn around and offer scholarships for people who show that they're really ready to do the work. Because a lot of people that you offer discounts to and different things, they're not really ready to do the work. They want a quick fix. And I don't work with women who want quick fixes. I didn't gain 100 pounds overnight, and it took me long. It didn't take me, I didn't lose 100 pounds overnight. I didn't, have all this trauma or all this stuff that happened in my life or whatever overnight. Like, it's not going to take one day for me to get all this stuff out of my system. That's not the way it works. So a lot of people that are coming in on that type of time, they want a quick fix. They want to immediately help me out of my scenario, do this and do that. No, get the money and help the ones who are really making strides and steps, and there's evidence that they actually want their life shifted and changed. If not, don't waste your time, because you're going to be drained. Hey, my love. You're going to be drained. Thank you for these gifts, for all the shadow work I've been doing to stumble across this. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you found something edifying and a product or a service that will support you. What is my background? What did I study? Do I have or have a mentor? So my background, are you asking for my educational background? What exactly are you asking for? My educational background is I have a BA, I have an MS, and I have some doctoral work. I quit my doctoral program because I was in my ego when I was getting it, and I wanted to be called doctor. So I don't know if that helps. So my areas of study are psychology, social work with a concentration of human services and community services. And my PhD was in nonprofit management, because I had a nonprofit at the time with my best friend. So I don't know if you were seeking that. The rest of my background is the spiritual intelligence that resides within me, known as the Holy Spirit via the Most High, and I'm really grateful for that. So a lot of my greatness and good things, all those things come from that. They do not come from me. And I definitely study. I'm a student of metaphysics. I love science. So that's why I said I understand the biology and the science of self is very important, especially specifically the feminine design. So I do a lot of reading as well. And I also have done a lot of self-healing. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. I used to be hormonally imbalanced to where I had an irregular cycle for 21 years. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. And I have supported women in being able to regulate their cycles and get rid of a multitude of things. I've supported women in being able to reverse liver damage, to regulate their A1Cs, reverse heart damage, and lose anywhere between 50 to 70 pounds. So I don't know what else. And yes, I have several mentors. So hopefully that answered all your questions. Let's see. It's a process for sure. Yes. She said I knew it. Dr. L it is. And girl, somebody gonna have to give me that doctor, because I ain't gonna back nobody's school. Baby, y'all, hand it to me. You want to give it to me? Now, I didn't work my tail. I deserve it, but I ain't going back to get it. Not many are going to be real about the ego PhD, period. I was in my ego. I wanted people to call me doctor. I had a point to prove. People had pissed me off. People had overlooked me. My intelligence. See, all these things, my intelligence I was using as a weapon. I finally realized how intelligent and smart I really was, and I wanted to show and shut everybody up and all this and all that. And you thought I wasn't going to be able to do that? And child, please. I make more and I'm more fulfilled doing what I do right now without a PhD, and I got less ego. So, yeah. It is a PDF, my love. You're going to scroll all the way down, baby. It is a PDF. You're gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you have your two options: whether you want the $497, where you work with me directly after, and we get that thing rolling, or you want the $175 ticket, and both you can get with client affirming afterpay. Let me see. I'm getting these questions. What's up if your cycle comes like 10 days early? Sometimes it does a switch, and sometimes it depends on what's happening in your body and by a lot. So there's such a thing as a chronological age. Like, I'm 41 years old, right? And then I also have a biological age. Your biological age lets you know exactly like how your body is aging and what's going on the inside of that. So it could be something that's going on as far as how things are shifting with you. It also could be something in related to stress, or it could be something that is off. So normally when it comes into a space like that, I would assess myself for the next cycle, the next moon cycle. So I'd assess myself from this cycle all the way into the next, paying attention to what I eat. Am I in sync with each phase of the cycle? And then from there, I would see how the next cycle comes through. And if I have an issue with that, then I would be going to get some stuff looked at. I'd be going to get some blood work so I can be able to look at it and, and see what's exactly is going on the inside. Have you on the drain and exhausted part? Yes, people will drain you. People will drain the hell out of you. And sometimes they don't even mean to. They just never have anybody to talk to. It's like, oh my God, you finally understand. Oh my God, give me all this good energy. Thank you. And just suck you dry. And now sometimes they don't mean any harm. Sometimes people don't care, which is why you have to be the manager of self and be like, yeah, no. Because I like peace. I like vibrating at the state of peace. And it's going to take courage for me to tell you no. Because I really see you got a problem. But no. I'm going to say, okay. So, yeah. It's a title, Energetically You Are a Doctor. Well, praises. Okay, yes, I did explain. Okay, so yeah, it is a PDF link. Just scroll down. What else? You're welcome. You got me want to pray for you. You should. Prayer is a portal and a powerful conversation. Never forget that. Prayer is a portal and a powerful conversation. Never forget that. It could be Omida. That's why I say you have to kind of assess it. Any other questions? Congratulations to those who have gotten tickets. I see them coming in. Congratulations. I can't wait to see y'all on the 13th. This is going to be so good. And then also I'm really excited to see what your monetizable skills are. Because that AI that I program, chef's kiss, baby. For real. For real, for real. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Yes, this is going to be on YouTube, so make sure that you click the link in the bio. Okay, so the class is going to be May the 13th. You can click the link in the bio to get access at noon. You do get access to the replay. And you have two options. You can get the option where you just come to class, which is $175, and then you can get the option where you come to class and you get me directly after. So we're going straight in. We're going straight into, okay, we got your monetizable skills, we got this, we got that. This is how we about to market this thing right out here, right here. And this is how you're going to start. This is how you're going to make it easy for yourself. And this is how you're going to get this young moolah, baby, period. So we're doing that for 2 weeks. we on it. So you click the link in the bio. It's called Monetize Like a Muse. And you can get access to it. And if you're interested in the Muse Activator, I'll talk a little bit more about the Muse Activator as well. The greatest thing that I love about what I do is supporting women in being able to activate their magnetism again so that they start magnetizing and attracting things that they really want. The type of money, the type of men, the type of experiences. Because all of these things you really can have. All these things are really ready, available to you. The problem is that you're not in the right place to receive. And a lot of times that's energetically. So that's why I say don't be impressed with people making money. Making money is easy. Be impressed with their character. Be impressed be impressed with their character. Be impressed with what you feel and you're able to tell energetically because you're that discerning. Okay? All right, loves, I'm not seeing any other questions. So DM me the word activate if you want access to the 6-week program at the rate of $997. That you can get with client on firm and afterpay. For the women who that you can get with client on firm and afterpay. For the women who women who come into and who want the activate link, if you DM me today and you say you want to come into the 6-week program, you automatically get a ticket to Monetize Like a Muse. So you don't even have to worry about that. So if you're coming in, if you're wanting to come into my 6-week program, DM me the word activate, you automatically get a ticket to Monetize Like a Muse. If you want Monetize Like a Muse, then click the link in the bio to be able to get access to it. It is going to pull up as a PDF file. It is going to direct you to go down to the bottom, and then you can click one of the two options. For $175, you can give a client affirming afterpay, or the $497, where you can give a client affirming afterpay, where you get 2 weeks of support with moi. Okay? All right, y'all. So I'm going to let y'all go. I have got to record some content and some stuff, so I'm going to do that. And yeah, because I've been slacking. I've been slacking on recording content on TikTok, and I'm about to do better with that. Like ASAP, okay? All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all soon. I hope that y'all have an amazing, 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 amazing Tuesday. Remember that self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship, because you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself, and you should treat yourself exceptionally well, because I hope you know that you deserve that. But if you don't know, I ain't gonna fight you on that, okay? I'm not here to argue with your perception of self. But I just hope you realize that you deserve that, so you energetically can start receiving that, because if you don't, you won't. Okay? All right, y'all. Make sure you go follow me on YouTube and subscribe. And I just messaged my paid subscribers because I'm about to start doing some stuff with them. So if you are a paid subscriber over there on YouTube, we're going to have a lot of fun, because we're going to be having these things called soft power sessions. So go on over there. We're going to be talking in private. I'm going to be answering your questions for real, and you're going to really have me, okay? So go over there and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're wanting a little bit more of a hands-on access, and join me in class if you want the real deal, okay? All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Bye.